everybody, and welcome back to another epic Jayboss video, where in today's video I will be reviewing the other parts of the Iron Spells and Spellbooks review. That's right, today we're finally going to get to the spells. Okay, I have every single school spell laid out here, chest by chest, and we are going to check them all out. But first, let's go over some stuff. First things first, make sure you guys subscribe, okay, for more epic mod reviews and modded survival stuff. Now let's go over how I'll be reviewing each spell. I will be reviewing each spell in its respective spell school spellbook with its staff and in its armor at its maximum level of spell. So basically, I will be reviewing every spell at its maximum potential. Okay? That way you guys know what you can work up to. Because this mod is really hard to progress in, but it is a great mod. The next thing to understand is that I will have each spell in their spellbook and all the stuff on, so it's at maximum potential, but I'll also be showing you guys 3 spells that I think best represent each school, and they're my personal favorites, okay? So, let's get to review, starting with the fire spells. So, the first spell that we will be reviewing is Firebolt. Let's cast it. Boom. Okay, now let's see what it looks like on a person in full unenchanted netherite armor. Boom. So that does 21. This does 8.1. So if you were to cast this spell at someone unarmored, they would probably be very injured. Next spell. This is actually one of the newer ones. Fire Arrow. Okay. Oh, charge up. Boom. Charge up. Boom. Oh, yeah. So, did you guys see that? 21:11. So, even in netherite armor, okay, this person will still take almost their entire health bar of damage. Our next one is not an attacking spell, but it can indeed do damage. It is Burning Dash. And it looks really cool. Fire spells are done. Now for the ice spells. So, every spell school in here kind of has an opposite, with maybe the exception of nature. But basically, fire spells are focused on dealing large amounts of damage and damage per second, whereas frost is more about dealing damage and healing. And just like, if you're being swarmed, use frost, because that's what it's for. So first spell is Icicle. It is just like Firebolt. Okay? Next spell I might have to go in F5 for. But, this is Ice Block. Boom! Do you guys recognize that spell? That is the very spell that was used in the trailer for the Iceologer. Okay, it's been a few seconds and these guys are still taking frost damage. Okay, I think they stopped. Another F5 spell here, and this is a brand new one, Ice Tomb. And encases me in ice, and I should be slowly healed. It can take one hit, and I crouch and it goes away. But if I do it right here, it should deal damage. It says it heals you 14 points for 14 seconds. Costs 120 mana to cast. That's awesome. The next spell school is Lightning, but I need to talk about something real fast. It does not have a spell book, so I just had to use an Ironbound Tome, which has no effects on the spells. If there is a lightning book by the time this video is out, that will be awesome. On to the spells. So for fans of the fire school that love doing concentrated damage to one target, here is what I'm going to show you. The lightning school is also about dealing concentrated damage. So we're going to do lightning lance, which is probably the least loud of all these spells. I apologize. That was not quiet. Next spell is electrocute. Okay, this one's not actually loud. That's cool. So it does 4 points, but 14 points to unarmored. Okay, now get ready for this one. This strikes him with lightning. 52 damage. Anyone who is unarmored is not gonna... But 21 over here, that's good. Although that time it hit him 34. Whoa. That's ice and lightning spells down. Now on to evocation. Okay, guys, I'm here, but I'm in my Archevoker costume. But turns out, while it does technically have a spellbook, evocation does not have a staff. So I guess I'll just do this without a staff. That should be totally fine though, because even though there's 6 spells here, I'm only going to be covering these 3. These 3 over here you can actually see in the vanilla game. Okay, these are the ones that the evokers use on you. These are the 3 I want to cover, and only one of them really does damage. The Lob Creeper spell, which, as we've previously established, is quite loud. Very loud. The next spell is the rather famous Wololo spell. So, this is how you can make a red sheep brown, yellow, green, pink, purple, dark gray, black sheep, light blue sheep, cyan sheep, magenta sheep, back to yellow sheep, back to pink sheep. So it just goes on like that all day. Well, that's weird because in game it swaps red and blue sheep. It makes red sheep blue, blue sheep red. The last spell in this school here is the Summon Horse spell, which scales with the level that you have on it. I have the legendary, it's the highest level, and I have evocation spell, so all that. Let's see how fast this guy is. He is super fast. Look at this. Wow. And then to just recast, gone. Those were my favorite evocation spells, but now on to more of my favorite, the ender spells. So even though I don't really like the armor on this one, it has no staff. It does have a spellbook though, so that's at least good. Okay. There's only really one spell because evocation and ender are less about dealing damage and more about utilities. So summon horse, all that stuff. First one up, magic missile, which at its maximum potential does 18.9 damage for 28 mana. That's not bad. And if you have enough mana, you can pretty much just spam this one. Next up, the portal spell. This one's also on the hither thither one. This one, it scales and gives you more cast range and your portals stay there for longer. So, let's say for instance, cast a portal there, cast a portal there. I go out, I come out the other one. So, bit of a mess, I know, but you can use the portal frames here to create a permanent portal. which I made a few accidents while casting. Luckily, there's another ender spell for that. Counter spell. So now we can see this perfectly. See? So if I run in here, yep, it becomes an infinite loop. How cool is that? Last spell, and by far my favorite, is teleport. Boom. Boom. Oh, let's see if I can come back. Boom. 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 Boom, 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 boom. Which at this level, maximum legendary scroll, everything, 89 block range. So, that's pretty absurd. Whoa. That's ender spells done with. On the nature spells. So again, another magic school that does not have a staff. But this one, instead of focusing on trickery and summoning stuff and conjuring stuff, this one's more focused on applying debuffs. So, poison arrow here. One of the very few poison spells. Next up, Firefly Swarm. The last nature spell I'm going to talk about is one of the newest spells, which at this level goes to netherite harvest level. It only costs 15 mana. This by far is the only thing worth it in the nature school, and it's called Touch Dig. You cast it at a block and it breaks the block. That's nature spells done. On the blood spells. So the blood spell school is focused on debuffs and stuff, just like nature, but it's also somewhat of evocation here, and a little bit like fire. So it's like frost, nature, and evocation put together. First spell is Wither Skull. The next spell is Blood Step. Which at this level has 57.3 block range. The next spell is a little complicated, but you'll love it. It is the Raise Dead spell. The higher it goes, the more mana it costs, the more it summons, and the better your gear your zombies will be. So let's cast. Check that out. See, they're in full iron armor because I'm at max level. How's that? And then to get them to all go away. Boom. That's blood spells done. Time for holy spells. So unlike nature and blood spells, holy spells are focused on applying buffs to your allies instead of debuffs to your enemies. So, we're going to be checking out that point. So this spell right here, Haste. This is an efficiency 5 netherite pickaxe. As you can see, this is how it normally mines. But now, if I cast the haste spell on myself, look at that. Really useful for getting large amounts of stone, and it makes you go faster, unlike a haste beacon or haste potion. The next spell is Cleanse, which if you want to raid an ocean monument or something, and you don't want harmful potion effects, but you can't carry milk with you, or you have good potion effects, and you don't want to get rid of those when you get rid of the bad potion effects, this spell is for you. This is a slowness potion. Yeah, okay. So, I have poison and weakness right now. Cleanse. Boom. Both gone. No buckets of milk or anything. And I can even use this spell really fast, right? For our final holy spell, and one that I can guarantee will be most useful to you, is Angel Wings. Okay? Which at its maximum power has a length of 4.5 minutes. It's like an elytra, see? Exactly like an elytra. So that's holy spells done, and you might think there's none left, but there is. There's one more. The Eldritch spells. Problem with the Eldritch spells is you cannot cast any of them until you learn them using an Eldritch manuscript, which takes 9 ancient knowledge fragments and an echo shard, all of which can pretty much only be found in an ancient city, and that only gets you one Eldritch spell. But it's okay, because these spells are crazy. There's only 6 of them. I'm going to show you guys all of them. So I will be wearing regular wizard robes with an enchanted spellbook, which just gives me 100 max mana, and the Signet of the Betrayer, which is the only thing in the entire mod that boosts Eldritch spells. So first off, how do I get one of these spells? Well, go into your scroll forge, because you cannot find these. They can only be made with legendary ink. Paper, echo shards. You will see I have to learn them. So we take one of our manuscripts, bop it open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spells. Okay. Sorry about how kind of deafening that was. Anyways, now that we know them, we can go right over here and we can see them all. So there you have it, folks. That is how you get Eldritch spells. And now, the first spell I will show you is Sonic Boom. This is actually the same thing that the Warden uses. Only 10 points of damage on this guy, 20 over here. Don't forget your armor, guys. Next up, Eldritch Blast. You can fire it 3 times before it goes on cooldown. Next up, Skulk Tentacles. So it's doing 10 damage on that guy. Looks like only 3 on that guy. Yeah, see? Okay. The next spell is called Planar Sight, or Wall Hacks. Boom. Check that out. I can see this villager right here, and even that sheep, who I didn't even know was back there. I can see pretty much any entity for a total of like 40 seconds. Okay, this is a magic mod, so you know telekinesis is going to come up. I can lift an entire iron golem, and I can even drop him. Pick him up, and then set him back in his little container. Boom. Our next spell is called Abyssal Shroud. So, I turn it on, and I'm supposed to be able to avoid any attack. Right, so let's try it out. Cast. Go in survival mode. See, look. Every time he hits me, I am completely fine. And lastly, with one of the most new iron spells in spellbooks, spells. Pocket Dimension. Okay, when y'all saw me hover over it earlier, you knew it was going to get crazy. Let's cast. I don't know how the spell's going to work actually, but I think it's like the portal spell. Oh, whoa. Okay, whoa. Dude, this is awesome. So, what is this stuff, man? Whoa, and then to go back, I just go through there? Wow, this would be great. So, hypothetically, let's say I just placed a bunch of diamonds in here, okay? In that exact formation. And then I left. Okay? And then I cast the spell again. Dude, it's all still here. That's awesome. And by the way, these are barrier blocks, just so you guys know. And it goes up to right here. Okay. So this is not that big of an area. It'll be cool if the area you got actually scaled with the spell. But I am not going to complain because this is just amazing. You can't even, like, copy this stuff right here, though. I don't know how they did it. So, Jayboss. How do I find almost all those awesome spells? Well, you go create a new world. And you look around. Okay, look around. And depending on how long you look, you can find awesome structures like the Mountain Tower, which I love the design of, but it is home to the Pyromancer, who is not friendly. Don't make that mistake. Trust me, I did. There's also the incredibly hard to find Swamp Hut, which is home to the Apothecarist, who also is not friendly. Don't make that mistake. There's also the brand new structure, the Ice Spider Den, which happened to spawn next to a mountain tower on this particular world. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy, but it leads down into like a cool dungeon type thing. You got all these rooms. It's supposed to be like a trial chamber. And you find and fight ice spiders. And this is how you can get your frost branded spellbook. Which there are no ice spiders in it now because I haven't summoned any because I haven't went in there. But yeah. The next structure is a little hard to find. But if you can find it, usually by this pointy thing of ice, this is called the Impaled Icebreaker. And it is the only place where you can get permafrost shards, which are used for crafting the not only the frost branded book, the Frost Ward ring, but also the ice staff, which takes this. Oh, and also, who could forget the very classic Archevoker Fort, which the camp outside is randomly generated, and it can contain iron golems and this guy, which is a special wandering trader. So what you do, you go into this room and you take this book, okay, and now you head on out down here, you get this guy and you give him it and 64 emeralds right here, and you get the translated Archevoker Fort book. And then once you have that book, find a priest at a village. He usually has a house. You can buy a map to that Archevoker Fort, Or you can sell him the translated logbook and get the villager Bible. But don't think this mod only has structures in the overworld. There's also the ancient battlegrounds in the Nether, which has now a trial spawner. But previously used to have these armor piles everywhere. And you would mine them and they'd summon ancient knights. Also, this one in particular happened to spawn outside a bastion. I thought that was cool. But there's also, and don't attempt this unless you are very confident in your gear, the Citadel, which is this big, large structure in the Nether, which is also like a trial chambers, but houses supposedly the toughest boss in the whole game. And this is where you can get your pyrium ingots and things, your fire spells and stuff. But honestly, this one, I would not recommend. This is really tough. And hey, look, free netherite armor though. That makes it worth it, right? But for those of you looking for a much easier challenge, try fighting in the catacombs, which are a long series of a dungeon here, and have long halls, but finally a throne room where you can revive the dead king. And it is an epic boss fight. It's really tough, epic, and spooky. And the whole time you doing this, you have to fight necromancers, which spawn in these spawners. It's really hard, but probably easier than the Citadel. But I hope you guys did enjoy this epic Jayboss video. And I hope you also did enjoy this little break from my modded survival series, which no one seems to be watching. Go watch it right now. When I get high enough level, I will conquer that Citadel, okay? And the catacombs, which I'm going to do first. But please look forward to an epic future on this channel of awesome content, which is why you should subscribe right now. Do it. Click the button. Pretty please. So that's the end of this epic Jayboss video. See y'all in the next one. Bye.